Well, good day, people. Good evening or good night. This is a first. And by that I mean you have never seen a Halloween special by me, because I was always too late every single year. And since I really like it and you really like it, I decided to make daggers. So this is now part 3 Halloween special. Okay, so before we start, I know that this looks fancy. I know that it fits the Halloween vibe, but working in these sleeves is unfortunately too impractical. I'm really sorry. So I'm gonna go change. So where to begin? I have a couple of things in my mind, and I'm gonna start with not the easiest one. Now, the idea that I have is not exactly linked to Halloween, but Gothic cathedrals, stained glass windows, a dagger blade that looks like a stained glass window. Only question is materials. Which materials? Obviously the glass is going to be out of polycarbonate transparent sheets, but everything around it is still uncertain. The smartest choice for the window framing would be to use a really thin material that's really like detailed. And fortunately I still have a few popsicles and my laser left. So let me first take care of that. Okay, so I spent a whole 3 hours designing and lasering these window frames, and they didn't quite turn out as I wanted them to turn out. But since it took 3 hours, I will not be doing it again. There is only one issue though. Let me show you. The tip is way too rounded. I don't know why I didn't notice that in the design, but yeah, again, it took me 3 hours. I'm just gonna keep it like that. It's not even that bad, but I wish I did a bit better. Anyway, to move on, the colors I want is a lot of colors on the glass and the surroundings dark gray. So that's what I'm gonna do first. I need my paint. Black, white palette brushes. Let me give these a glow up. Now, after painting the wood gray with slightly lighter accents, I was ready to do the glass. Like I said, I used nothing else than polycarbonate sheets, and I actually used the exact same technique as in my underwater town video where I did the stained windows. Basically, I first painted the surface with glue and then let it dry, which took a while. This is a time lapse. Then I just painted it with colored pens. And you know, that's exactly the purpose of the glue, because without the glue, the color would not have stayed on the surface. Now, why did I use colored pens and not acrylic color or something else? Well, it's translucent, which is the effect I was aiming for. Gluing the whole thing was a bit tricky because it consists out of 7 parts, but I kind of managed to do it somehow. It was even more stable than I expected. Now, first half done, the other half is not yet done. And in my head, I have the plan stone wall, gray stone. So I started simple. I kind of layered some foam and put it on the bottom of the blade, but for the grip, foam might have not been stable enough. So what I took was this. This is a tiny part of sound sound dampening wall. It has some pressed wood and it's actually simply stapled to the back. So all I had to do was pull the metal part out, and I had a stick that is a bit too long. So I tried to cut it apart with a Dremel, and I'm saying I tried to on purpose because I got impatient the first time, wanted to snap it with my foot, and it just broke in a not nice shape. And then I tried again with a bit more patience, and then it actually worked. Sometimes I experiment if things work out off camera, so I knew that hot glue sticks to the wood very well, which is why after sanding down the foam in the middle of it, I glued it onto there with hot glue. And of course I wanted to add a few more details than that, so I cut a few more shapes out of foam and popsicles again, because there's a shape that I have seen quite a lot in cathedrals, which is kind of like flower-like. So I kind of created it in my laser software, lasered it. And it was probably not smart to do multiple layers at once because they fell down while lasering. And then the laser struck the parts that had already fallen down, but it was okay in the end. Nothing really got damaged. And so I glued these little tiny parts onto my wood with regular glue. Here. Then of course we get to my favorite part, like always, painting. So here's a nice transition, which I actually forgot to do. The thing I did was cover the entire grip in gesso, which is simply a primer to make the color I put on top stick to the material. As you can see here, it's coated in white. I'm painting it in gray, then added some black to that and a bit of faded white color on the edges. To finish it up, some gold on the bottom, because we do love some gold, and it was done. The stained window dagger is finished. And yeah, it still looks a bit too round for my taste, but overall I'm happy with it. The idea for the next dagger is pretty simple. Basically, I'm thinking of bandages, like mummy bandages. And the blade is just some weird looking shape in glossy red. Of course, the bandages are stained. I hope that's not gonna end up looking too graphic. Let's just get started. I need a simple round base for this one. Here. This is a leftover PVC pipe. I actually don't like working with PVC pipe because most of the glues that I have here don't stick to it. And this even has glossy paint on it. Anyway, let me see what I can do. I can try to sand it down first. Right, this looks not too bad. We're gonna see if it will hold glue. But before I do that, I also need the blade and the end of the handle to hold onto this. Excuse the messy workplace. We're using 10mm EVA foam because I'm gonna make a square. I need to kind of transform it into an octagon. And then this octagon is gonna go in here. And now we have a flute. Of course, a second one. Alright, and now, since hot glue perfectly sticks to foam, we can just glue something on the ends. Obviously, I'm not gonna keep it like that. Like I said, I want to make a mummy dagger. For the bandages, I need fabric. I think at one point I have to make a tour of my closet here. This is an absolute disaster. Anyway, I always look for leftovers, but I think I don't have any fabric leftovers. Well, technically, this is a leftover, but it's like a big sheet of fabric. I first have to test out how much fabric I actually need. About this much, maybe. But you know what? I'm gonna play it safe and just cut off the whole top here, and I can still use the rest. It doesn't need to be even. It's supposed to look pretty chaotic. Ah! Okay, not this uneven. What the... We have a nice bandage here, and as expected, we don't need all of it. Actually, hold on. I should probably do the bandages last. I thought I was being different by doing the grip first this time, because I never did that. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't do that. Anyway, let me still paint the bandage. I need watercolors. Let me pick up water. And then a shade of red. No, brown? Brown first. If I put it on here, it looks exactly as expected. Not good, because that is too brown. I need to mix it with water. This is more it. I think I can actually mess around more, like, and maybe dark red. And then that looks like wine. Maybe I'm gonna do the flick with dark brown. Okay, attention. That barely did anything, but it's okay. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna spend a lot of time painting this bandage. Oh, yes. Making the exoskeleton for the blade was actually incredibly easy because I cut out the shape of the blade, and to make it 3D, I glued a strip of cardboard to the middle and then layered even more cardboard on top of it. Kind of slightly resembles a rib cage in my opinion. But yeah, I did that for a reason, because despite having foam clay, which is able to be formed in whatever shape you need, I didn't want to use too much of it. So I made this base, because if you look here, I just had to spread it out on top of the base, and that's it. And it's also pretty stable. I really like that. Oh, and I did the same here. You can detach it, but we'll keep these on here, and I'm gonna tape it a bit. The masking is done, and now it's ready to be sprayed, but not on the table. I do not have the patience to clean the table, so I'm gonna do it on the floor. Welcome to the less pretty corner in my studio. I am your host, and here I have primer and red paint. Glossy, that's it. And of course, a breathing mask. These are so inconvenient to wear with glasses. But safety first. The dagger. Priming. It always needs a moment to dry. Oh, I'm smelling the chemicals. This is gonna take a lot of time to dry. Sanding the PVC pipe was actually a great idea, because I just glued the fabric on there and that was it. It was very simple actually. Now this is basically the finished form, but there's one thing I still wanted to add to make it look finished, and that was adding even more red color to achieve the look of dried red paint, if you know what I mean. And now this is the finished thing. This part here is loose on purpose, because you can kind of wrap the blade in the bandage, or you can just use it like this and it looks really cool. Yeah, I really like it, and the red looks so good. Maybe I've been playing too many video games lately, but this is screaming orange. So yeah, alright, stained glass window, red bandage dagger. What else screams Halloween? Of course, Pumpkins. I don't know if transforming a pumpkin into a dagger is a good idea or will look remotely like a dagger, but only one way to find out. This time I think I'm gonna make the entire base out of cardboard. So let's go. This is what we have so far. I was planning to make the grip perfectly round. I actually wanted to cover it, but I really like the structure. I'm gonna keep it like that. Okay, now why is only the grip covered and this is completely blank? Well, ta-da! This is probably not telling you anything, but this is basically a storage area for a battery box. Because, of course, I want to make it glow. And the only possible way for me at the moment is to use these really tiny, cheap fairy lights, Christmas lights. In German it's just called light chain. And I have to show you something. I have this one, it has old batteries and I wanted to use it. And then I was like, maybe I'm gonna put in new batteries. This is a tray with the new batteries. I think I'm gonna use the new ones. I'm gonna leave this open actually, because if I need to change the batteries for whatever reason, I can just pull it out. So yeah, it fits perfectly in here and I just need to arrange the lights now. That will maybe be nerve-wracking. But what needs to be done has to be done, so let's go. Since I have already collected some experience with taping lights, I know that the tape will loosen. And yes, I first taped it with tape, but only to hold it in place. And then I hot glued some cardboard patches on top to make it really firm, and I think nothing will loosen now. I kind of had the spontaneous idea to paint it gold on the inside to make the light reflect a bit better. Just a tiny bit. The difference is not big, but it's there. So here's the cover, which I of course carved faces into. And of course I couldn't leave the holes empty because the lights just would have shone through. So I took some fabric and then stained this fabric yellow. And yeah, this took some time to dry. But once it was dry, I glued it on the back, added some additional gold and glued it on top of the dagger. And that was the stage when I was finally able to see how the light is presenting itself. Look at this. This is so cool. Okay, I have to cover this up. Oh my. I actually covered it up entirely with foam clay, then coated the foam clay in primer again, and we're at my favorite stage again. Painting. Obviously orange. To be honest, I wish that I made the surface a bit more bumpy, but I was scared to make it even more chunk than it already is. But in the end I managed to figure it out somehow, because I added some texture. I shaded it with black actually. And shading with black isn't always so welcome, but in this case, very fitting. The handle that looks kind of like the stem was of course gonna be green, and with some additional detailing, it was finished. But there's another step to finish it, which I kind of never do. But this time I added varnish, glossy varnish. I think pumpkins are like a bit glossy, if I remember correctly. I haven't seen a pumpkin since a year, and you might have noticed, but it's hanging right behind me. It's still drying. Let me see if I can turn it on. Ah, beautiful. Doesn't that look great? Now, this wasn't actually the last one. I know that I did 5 daggers once, then I did 3. And now I'm doing 4, because why not? But this is kind of gonna be a bonus dagger, because I have no idea if this is going to work, honestly. The main reason is that I'm gonna work with a material that I haven't worked with quite a lot, and I don't know how to work with it. But let me first tell you what I wanna do. We have gray and a lot of colors. We have red, we have orange. To contrast that, I'm gonna make a really bright one, a white one. A ghost? No. I'm thinking of skeleton. Let me first plan this one out. Alright, skeletons. Bones. I found a stick. I like to take walks in nature, and I found this stick on the ground. Then I sat on a rock and kind of peeled off the bark and took it with me, and now it's dry, and I think I can turn it into something interesting. A bone, for example. It is not perfectly straight. It's kind of crooked, which is good. First of all, you have to get rid of this. We have a little blade here that looks like a nutcracker, just a bit more dangerous. And let's see, maybe I can cut it off. Oh, that's surprisingly easy. Let me just sand these down, only a little bit, to get rid of sharp edges. Looking good. We also have this part down here, which I'm gonna keep like that. It's gonna be the bottom. And now, what to do with this? As you can see, I have some white sheet here. And this is actually not paper. It is a sheet of thermoplastic, which can be melted and formed. I was first thinking of a rib cage, but this is maybe bit too complicated, but I still want to make a similar shape, so I thought of like fish bones, like something that looks like a feather but it's bones, kind of this kind of structure. Well, like I said, I'm still inexperienced with this material. I will have to test something out first. Basically, my plan is to heat this up, then roll it up to make it more stable and wrap it around here. Maybe it's gonna work, maybe not. I don't want to keep the sharp edges. Okay. I'm infused with tea, so let me get my machinery. Oh, I found something. In the process of finding my heat gun that also has full battery, I found this, which I took with me to form a dagger out of it. And I didn't use it. It's kind of a spike that goes in the ground, in the garden. There's still a lot of dirt on it, but at the moment I cannot think of how to use it, so maybe another time. Maybe more daggers in the future. Let me heat this baby up. The glossy side doesn't have a glossy side. Oh, there it is. Ah, that was the glossy side. The glossy side is sticky. Like, it gets sticky once heated up. I can already see it melting. No, it's not soft yet. Oh, it's already a bit soft. Let's take it a bit further. Okay. Yes, I can form it. I can form it. And it's hot. Very, very, very nice. Okay, we have the bone, and now I'm gonna heat this up and wrap it around the wood. I'm kind of worried about my cutting mat. It always bulges when I heat something up, but it's been taking heat pretty well so far. It's not broken or anything. Alright, I have to be rather quick with this because it cools down pretty fast. Nice. That's actually pretty solid. I think I'm gonna need at least 6 or 7 more. Let's go. That's exactly what I meant with this being the bonus dagger, because I'm gonna leave it like that. I just added the thermoplastic, painted the rest white, and I don't want to add anything. I like it just the way it is. I wanted to add fabric, translucent fabric, but now that I'm looking at this, I don't want to do that. This looks like a bone an adventurer gathered from some kind of monster and is now just using this as a makeshift dagger. And I also don't want to add dirt or anything because it kind of makes it creepier that way. It's suspiciously clean. And yeah, that's it. That was my first Halloween video for you. I hope you liked it. And of course, you're still gonna get a detailed look at the daggers. I'm gonna be honest, this is way too thick to call itself a dagger. It looks more like a pastry. If you agree, tell me, because I will understand. I still like it though, it looks cool. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me. And if you're an artist, you might be familiar with Inktober. And I made a prompt list with you, my community, because I thought it would be fun. So if you want to use it, here it is. You can also find it on my Insta and my community posts here on YouTube. Check out my... I just hope you had fun watching. See you next time. Bye!